First of all, I'd like to share one story with you, which I learned from one of our former ambassadors in the Security Council, who was a colleague of Mr. Lavrov. And this story happened in December 1991 in headquarters of NATO, where there were ministers of Warsaw, former Warsaw Treaty ministers, which was dismissed later on, and including Russian minister. It was the Christmas Eve, and everything was ready to sign a treaty about partnership for peace, and the representative of Russia received a call from Moscow. In some time he came back and said, "I'm sorry, but I can't sign this treaty because it is talking about the Soviet Union, but Soviet Union is no more existent." I think it seems to me that since then we've tried to find the architecture of security in Europe and still are not able to build it. The President Mitterrand was proposing to create a federation including Russia, and he forgot about the United States, and so this proposal did not have any further history. NATO, which was created in 1949, gradually included in its list several countries, former Soviet Union, including 3 Baltic countries. Later on, due to economic reasons, they joined European Union as well. I will not be talking more about European Union because in the beginning it had 6 members. The organization was formed on the initiative of France, and it didn't have any military purpose, although it could regulate several crisis issues. Everyone knows that the United States actually are commanding the military organization of NATO. And it's a common knowledge that American troops in Europe count about 5,000 military and I would like to add that the Atlantic Alliance, where countries are accepted on a voluntary basis, these countries have different potential, but in general they have all the same principles. The decisions are made in NATO by voting, and if Turkey, for example, did not allow to use their Air Force bases during Iraq occupation by the United States. I would like to add that in 2008, during Bucharest summit, Russia and Germany stood against going of NATO to the east. And this organization was formed on the basis of Helsinki communique and OSCE. When it started, it had only 35 countries. Now they have 57 members. And this organization is implementing the ideas of Mr. Gorbachev and is involved in 3 types of activities. First of all, armament control, regulating crisis in Ukraine in particular. Secondly, it's cooperation in economic sphere and development. And third is human component, including the measures anti-drug proliferation and anti-terrorist activities. Summits of OEC are conducted on a regular basis. Now they are conducted more seldom, and the decisions are made on the basis of meetings of the representatives of countries. Капец. Russia, NATO, their work is a little bit suspended for a while, but there are still opportunity for contacts for emergency cases, some disasters which can happen, especially considering the involvement in Ukrainian crisis. Due to presidency of Switzerland, who were able to use all the instruments at their disposal, such as mediation between headquarters, expertise related to elections. After that, now Serbia is having presidents, then Austria. OSCE acts a very positive role. Most people consider it this way. And President of Russia in 2009, Mr. Medvedev offered to arrange security in Europe, which was to substitute. Чего substitute? The OSCE, and in the framework of CIS, there are such organizations like Shanghai Cooperation Organization, Collective Security Agreement, which actually unite several countries. I'm not sure how much time I still have. I would like to say a few words about the Ukrainian crisis. We can't conceal 2 minutes. I'll try to be brief. To tell
Be precise.
A few words about the center of forces in the world, we could avoid this Ukrainian crisis.
Concise.
And it's evidently that many parties are responsible for this crisis, that it happened. And the chairman of a Commission on International Affairs considers this. And this is also my own opinion. Minsk II agreements were concluded with France, Germany, Ukraine, and Russia participants, and this Normand format included 4 countries, and many people were very skeptical about this regime of ceasefire. But it is actually fulfilled. And I consider that the political part of these agreements is also to be fulfilled. It implies decentralization and changing the constitution, which Ukraine actually took these obligations on its part. So I believe that these decisions are to be observed. Later we can remove the sanctions. What we are lacking in Europe, it's trust. We will not get this trust if we will be limiting ourselves with judicial and political means of reacting to what happens. I mean, Crimea. Nobody is interested, neither Ukraine nor Russia, to preserve this conflict as a frozen one. It will help extremists to let them raise their demands.
And in conclusion, I'm willing to say that OSCE need to play a decisive role in solution of in implementation of Minsk agreements. And the French president, same as German chancellor, said that NATO may not continue embracing Ukraine. It is necessary to conclude an agreement where neutrality of Ukraine will be determined. And I'm willing to stress the importance of disarmament agreement. And I think that it is necessary to renew organization of ordinary equipment. It was concluded in 1990 when I was Minister of Defense of France. Text became outdated, but I think we may determine some threshold so as not to exceed levels of arms and avoid arms race in Europe. Very soon we will have observation Congress, and this demands also increase of measures of trust, in particular regarding verification of placement of nuclear heads, and also agreement to ban nuclear tests and agreement banning production of diffusible military materials. And I would like to remind that there is an agreement which determines all rules of international law, Security Council of the United Nations, and maybe we may plan much, but still we have to acknowledge and adhere to agreements taken in the framework of the United Nations. And Security Council approved the agreement of Minsk II, and it also determines, I'm willing to say that there are no military or moral basis to start the new Cold War. We should not give a pretext to those who dream about times that passed, and we have to deal with the issues to establish peace, and this is in the interest of Ukraine and other countries. Thank you a lot.